Hello, this is Laura from the district office, and welcome to another training video for Skyward. Today we're going to be discussing time tracking in Skyward. This is how you build digital timesheets, clock in, clock out, so that we can process your payroll in a timely manner. You're going to be seeing Skyward both on the desktop and on my mobile device. Clocking in and clocking out should be very simple. In addition to the web-based and the app that you can use, there will also be a kiosk in the form of an iPad at each building where you'll be able to enter an access code and clock in from there. Your access code will be provided to you separately. If you happen to misplace your access code, no worries. From your dashboard, if you select Employee Profile, you can see your access code from your profile as well. So that's really handy that you can get it from anywhere. So the first step is always going to be to ensure that you're logged in. So on the desktop, I have to sign in with my vikingnet.net email. And then for me, I have a lot of information on my landing page, but I'm going to get to my employee side. So you'll see these tiles on your dashboard, and then on the app, after I put in my PIN, which is personal to me, that's just a security feature on your phone. That is not your access code that you would use on a kiosk. Those are different. But on the mobile device, you will also see these same tiles. So I am going to choose the clock in out tile. And on your dashboard, you will see the option to clock in, or if you are already clocked in, it will give you the option to clock out. So I click clock in, and it is that simple. I am now clocked in and my time is running. Depending on your profile, you may see a break or lunch and then the out button. So the break and the lunch button is just a way for us to track why it is that you would be clocking in and out, but it's not required and it may not appear on everybody's profile. So for example, when I'm ready to leave for lunch, if I click the lunch button, it's going to clock me out and it's going to show the start time of my lunch. And then when I'm done with lunch, I'll get back and I will choose clock in. Now I also could simply just clock out and then clock back in when I get back from lunch. It makes no difference. And like I said, that may not even appear on your profile. So that really is it for clocking in and clocking out. Getting you access to the system is going to be really easy on your phone. You just want to make sure that you are connected to the Viking Wi-Fi. That way you ensure your location is on the IP address that will be acceptable because we do track that information. So make sure you don't clock in from any other location unless you are in like the maintenance staff or in a position where you travel and may not be specifically at a district building in order to start your time. So if you have an error and you forget to clock in or you did not clock out for lunch or whatever that may be, your supervisor is going to have access to correct that for you. So you just need to let them know what the correction is. But do please try to the best of your ability to remember to clock in and clock out. Frequent edits to your timesheet is going to raise kind of a flag at our office. So if that happens, we'll just kind of be talking with you about ways to possibly remember how to remind yourself to clock in and clock out each day. Another piece that you'll want to be familiar with is how your paid time off or your paid leave works. So when you do a PTO request as an hourly employee and you put in for time to be paid when you're not at work, the time that you request and is approved gets built into your timesheet. So if you look at your time off requests, you'll see the date and the time, and then those will be built into your timesheet. And you can view your timesheet under the unsubmitted timesheet option, which on the web, you will see the same tile, unsubmitted timesheet weeks. As your timesheets are built out, you will see them, especially if you have future PTO. So if I put in maybe a time off requests for next week, you'll start to see those populate as they approach. So if I wanted to look at my timesheet, I can always open it, and it's going to show me all the details for each day, including the in and out. And this is where you will also review and submit your timesheet. But this is where you can check that your PTO is getting built into your timesheet so that you ensure you get paid for your time. If it does not appear on your timesheet, you will not be paid for it. So make sure before you submit it for approval that you agree this accurately reflects your time worked, so that we can process it through payroll without any issues. So that's how paid time off is going to work with your timesheet. If there is an edit to your paid time off, you'll want to do that before you submit your timesheet. Similar to any correction to your clock in, clock out, ensure that those are all resolved prior to submitting, because once it's submitted for approval, you cannot then go adjust a PTO request or add one after the fact. Your timesheet is going to be locked at that point, and we at the district office are the only ones who can unlock it for you in order to adjust it. Timesheets and our work week run from Sunday through Saturday. So you will see weekly timesheets that begin on every Sunday and end on every Saturday. And then they are submitted on a weekly basis. So you'll get a message saying, hey, you have an unsubmitted timesheet. Go ahead and submit that for approval. That way you have that information fresh in your mind so that you can make sure it's accurate before it gets submitted. You will submit them weekly, but our pay periods are still the 1st to the 15th of the month and then the 16th through the last day of the month. So if the end date for our pay period, so let's say December 15th is the last date of the pay period, ends during this work week, that's okay. You wait until the work week is over and then you will submit it for approval. Because if you submit it early, you won't be able to clock in and clock out anymore on that week, and we don't want that to happen. So make sure you finish out the week like normal. You will submit it for approval. That still is enough time for us to process payroll, because once that timesheet is submitted and approved and locked in, we simply just import that information and we can process you through payroll very quickly. So that's why it's important you ensure it's accurate, make corrections in a timely manner so you can submit it in a timely manner, but do know that that's okay if a pay period ends during the middle of a work week. And like I said, payroll is going to hopefully run very smoothly once we have our digital timesheets up and running. Once it's submitted, it automatically will get calculated into our next payroll. So the 1st of the 15th will get paid on the last day of the month, and then the last half of the month gets paid on the following 15th of the month, with, accounting for weekends and holidays. But that's essentially it. If you have any questions or run into any problems, there's a couple of resources for you on your letter that gave you your access code. You will find a quick link to the staff Skyward user guide that I am continually improving upon. So here you're going to find a lot of the information that is included in the videos. So for digital timesheets, there's a section about how to clock in and clock out, how to submit your timesheet, how it works with time off. There's screenshots and explanations about how the process works. So if you do have any questions or run into any problems, I also recommend this as a resource, as it is freely available to anyone using their vikingnet.net email. And then if you run into any problems that you and your supervisor cannot resolve, you can always submit a feedback or issues report to our office. Just go to usd503.org, scroll to the very bottom under forms. You click on that, and it's on this first page, the Skyward Employee Feedback /issues. Let us know what you're having problems with. If it's a payroll issue or a time tracking issue, submit that to us. It comes to everyone at the district office so we can resolve it as quickly as possible. So again, thank you for your time, and let us know if you have any questions.